Can half a millennium of craftsmanship be improved? The design of the violin has been 500 years in the making. From 16th century Italy onwards, it has experienced relatively few innovations and upgrades. The techniques of manufacture are handed down, and some have been kept within families for hundreds of years. They form a historical tradition that is enduring and respected. Violins are also considered objects of exquisite beauty and elegance. Yet, my question as a violinist interested in HCI, human-computer interaction, is whether 21st century technology can be used to refine and enhance our experience of what it means to play this historical instrument. Does the violin have a new iteration? This is a big challenge, but one worth embracing as it gets to the core of the relationship between humans and music. This is ASU. A disruptive technology is something that creates a new market and eventually displaces existing institutions. Think about wearable technologies, which are proliferating now. All of a sudden you have a lot of sensors on your body just by virtue of carrying around a phone. So you start counting your steps to gauge your physical activity, but there's a trap because pedometers are great at counting up how many steps you take, but they say nothing about the misery or the joy you felt during those steps. You get a utilitarian instrument that disregards the aesthetic dimensions of experience, which is your capacity for enjoying it. You can completely get obsessed with the numbers and start to change your behavior and attitude in a way that could be beneficial, but maybe not. This is something that happens to musicians too. And it is not what I want to see music technology amplifying. I don't want to see a bunch of new metrics and complexity about how long I practiced, with total disregard for how fulfilled I am. It should be a question about the quality of my practice, which actually reflects contemporary pedagogies that not everyone follows, but that emphasize the quality of your practice so you don't burn out your joints and tendons by mechanistic practice for 8 hours a day. So what could novel music technologies do for a violinist, for instance? Well, I actually have developed a device called an active shoulder rest, or ASR, which is based on an accessory that most violinists use, and basically all beginners use, that gives you some ergonomic support. The ASR has actuators built in that vibrate the violin's body and make new sounds come out of it. These sounds could double something you're playing, like pitch it up an octave as an accompaniment to what you're doing, or you could use it as a haptic metronome that you feel but don't hear. You can also just play musical loops through it that then diffuse through your violin. This is actually what I've noticed a lot of students like to do with it first. This is my chemistry set for the violin. It lets you tinker with the physics of your violin, essentially. And I think this experimental approach has an enormous potential for renewing an aesthetic attitude and appreciation that can atrophy if you get too mechanical with your practice routine. It's nice to have something new to explore, but it's also a really great hook for getting students interested in the violin and sticking with it. Then they run with it and surprise their teachers and themselves by developing new practices and music that we can't anticipate. There's a big obstacle to this approach in the very conservative world of classical music, namely the rehearse and perform paradigm, which basically means that the only conceivable kind of progress is progress on a piece of music. This blinds people to the aesthetic dimensions of learning. Dewey said that it's a mistake to exclude imagination from goal-directed activity. The ASR has the potential to make teachers recognize that there's a gap in the teaching. The exploratory, creative, and playful is missing. This is the disruptive potential of the ASR, that it could start to change musical culture from the inside out. So maybe it's time to shake things up. Centuries of beloved tradition don't have to be ignored, but we have the ability now to reshape the way we appreciate and practice it. We can experience the violin as a living instrument that is capable of growth and interact with it in ways that are new and fresh. We can give the instrument a voice it's never had before. And maybe in this way, we can give ourselves and the people who hear us a new joy in the beauty of 500 years of music. This was ASU. Thanks for watching.